Hi, my name is Cold Beer and let's start with Grey Goo Definitive Edition. You know what is a cool thing about Grey Goo? Well, definitely not its name, but the fact that you can play it offline on local area network, meaning that you can buy 2 copies of Grey Goo on sale, invite your buddy with a box of beer and fight each other, and later play this game together in 1 versus 1 multiplayer battles. Grey Goo was released about 8 years ago, so you won't need a modern machine to run it, but keep in mind that although the game was obviously inspired by StarCraft, it is slower, and for fast-paced combat lovers it could be a bit painful to play. Developers even say that the game bases itself around macro decisions over micromanagement. That's bad and not what you want to hear if you are a fan of StarCraft, but if you like RTS games, Grey Goo really deserves some of your time, that's for sure. Midnight Fight Express. This is a brutal beat-em-up game where you play as a former member of the criminal underworld, lured back into the thug life. Your mission is against impossible odds. You will have to fight your way across the city before sunrise and prevent a citywide criminal takeover. You will engage in a brutal brawling ballet, using every environmental tool and street fighting techniques at your disposal. Tangle with waves of foes with the agility of an action movie master. Punch, dodge, counter and finish off enemies in fluid and visceral combat. Custom difficulty modes will allow you to play on lowest, known as pussy difficulty, and still die all the time. But don't blame the game, blame your genes or something. People are saying that this is a great game if you like hurting people, and I agree that very positive review score is here for a reason. Titan Station. This is a retro sci-fi adventure that takes us far into the future, in the year of 1999. Yeah, the retro future is in the past, but somehow we have all these wonderful things we managed to achieve with the technology of the past. A really cool genre reminding us of all these science fiction novels we have read in our teens. So here you are, a systems operator, casual worker of the space station. But after arriving, your mundane work turns into a struggle for your very life as you make a shocking discovery. You have to believe me here, because this is not a channel of spoilers. Most of the time. Well, half of the time. Still, that counts. Subscribe. Anyway, the station is connected to Saturn's moon Titan by an elevator and pipeline system. Really cool concept. Here you won't find any combat and the game itself will take about 4 hours to complete. If you liked games like The Invincible, Outer Wilds or Observation, Titan Station is your spoon of potato salad. More than 90% of reviews on Steam are positive. The Invincible. The Invincible was written by Polish writer Stanisław Lem, the author of the very well-known Solaris. In general, I think that The Invincible should have been a movie, but I will take a game as well. So the plot of the book, I will try to tell you without spoilers, is revolving around an expedition who has landed on a distant desert planet, much like a Mars, but an itsy-bitsy teeny-weeny more alive one. And then bad things start to happen. Duh. All I can say that this plot is not a usual one where you land on some creepy rock and then some monsters start snatching your crew one by one. It's not like that. If you remember Solaris, you can realize that Stanisław Lem tried to avoid cliches and think of something more intriguing. So I can promise you that The Invincible is not a cliche story. It is really good, less psychological if you compare it to Solaris and more action-oriented. Also, if you played Firewatch, you will see where they took the inspiration from. Unpacking. This is a beautiful Zen puzzle game about the familiar experience of pulling possessions out of boxes and fitting them into a new home. It's part block fitting puzzle, part home decoration, where you are invited to create a satisfying living space while learning clues about the life you are unpacking. Over the course of 8 house moves, you are given a chance to experience a sense of intimacy with a character you never see and a story you are never told. It is simple, but also a thing you probably will never experience in real life, because when you move somewhere, you usually know what items you have and where to put them. The game is super relaxing. And honestly, while writing this short overview, I started to watch some gameplays of other people and it was hard to stop. The game is mesmerizing. Also, it has above 90% of positive review score on Steam, so you can't go wrong with this one. Fantasy General 2. A candy for everyone who likes classic turn-based games like Heroes of Might and Magic, Civilization or Age of Wonders. Here you will lead over 75 different unique unit types, including powerful heroes. You will have to take into consideration terrain, weapons and armor, magical effects, morale and the balance of forces in general. You will need to think of a great plan, execute it and vanquish your puny pathetic enemies, forging your reputation as savage war leader. People on Steam are saying that this is one of the coolest just 4X games, but also it has kinda predatory DLC politics. You know, if you want to play more races and so on, you will have to buy expensive expansion packs. In any way, the price for the base game is kinda nice, so think about it. Grime. This is a fast and unforgiving Metroidvania action-adventure RPG. In this world of anatomical horror and intrigue, you will crush your foes with living weapons that mutate their form and function. Then consume dead adversaries with your black hole to strengthen your vessel. The game lets you play to your preference and upgrade only those traits you feel most suited to your unique style. You'll find there is more than one way to break open an enemy, as you move through a variety of environments, meet their inhabitants, and discover the source of their madness. People are saying that the gameplay is quite hard until you get a grip of the mechanics, although boss battles will still show you your place, so don't get cocky and don't give up either. This is a beautiful and atmospheric game worthy of all your attention. Golf Club Nostalgia. Here the rich fled to Mars, but sometimes they venture back to a desolate Earth for a round of golf. Each hole in the wasteland offers its own little story and possible puzzle to sink the perfect shot. You will play through destroyed brutalist monuments, crumbling shopping malls, and abandoned museums with neon signs. The game has a great soundtrack as well as personal stories broadcasted on Radio Nostalgia from Mars. The station caters to citizens of Mars as they dial in to share their memories of Earth. A smooth-voiced radio DJ keeps the show flowing with updates and announcements, hinting at a not-so-glamorous life on Mars. This is a unique and beautiful game really worthy of your attention. 5 Nations. If StarCraft was mockingly called a Warcraft in space, then 5 Nations should be called a Warcraft in space, because it is following the same gameplay formula as Blizzard games, but everything is happening, you know, in space. But don't worry, this is not some grand strategy game or something like a homeworld where the distances are huge and everything is happening super slow. No, in 5 Nations the background is space, but all the action is the same as an old good base builder RTSs. The game gets little attention because it's an indie game and they have no money to make a huge advertising campaigns. I found it just because I was especially looking for games like StarCraft, and it still took me an hour to get to this game. But now it may become a bit more popular because other YouTubers tend to copy my lists. Great thing is that you can play the demo version on Steam absolutely free and check it out with your own eyes. Although it's not easy to see where to download it, look in the right column above information about languages and you will see the download button. 5 Nations managed to stay true to old school gameplay, voiceovers and even writing style, and that is great. Merchant of the Skies. Here you will become a captain of a trading airship. All you have to do is to get rich and embark on many adventures in the process. Overall, this is a sandbox trading game with light base building and tycoon elements. You start as a captain of a small cloud ship and work your way towards establishing your own trade company. Game incorporates exploration, base building, trading and some minor RPG elements as well. Yeah, you will get experience and become more savvy when it comes to trading, then start your own goods production. And as an experienced cloud tycoon, you will establish trade routes to move and sell goods without your direct involvement. And, you know, get rich and build your own mansion from more than 200 different building blocks. People are saying that this is a very nice chill game suitable for everyone who just want to relax after a hard work day. Severed Steel. Here you will play as a woman named Steel. You have a prosthetic arm and you use it to navigate the levels, which adds an interesting and unique element to the gameplay. And although Steel has no arm, she's not armless, if you know what I mean. Honestly, here you'll find a huge arsenal of arms, just not arms. The game's physics engine can be a little bit wild at times, which makes for some hilarious moments when enemies get flung around like ragdolls. And with a killer soundtrack that perfectly matches the game's pace, Severed Steel is really fun to play. Whether you are a hardcore FPS fan or just looking for a casual game, I think it's worth your time. It has more than 90% of positive reviews on Steam, and that is always a proof of a good game. Mind Scanners. This is a retro-futuristic psychiatry simulation in which you diagnose the citizens of a dystopian metropolis. You locate a host of weird characters and use arcade-style treatment devices to help them. Manage your time and resources to keep the structure in balance. And remember, you take full responsibility for your patients. If you ever played and liked the game called Papers, Please, this may be your spoon of potato salad, and vice versa. Mind Scanners is definitely not for everyone, but a very positive review score on Steam is a good indicator that the game is good. Depending if you like the game or not, you may spend from 1 to roughly 10 hours playing it. Panorama. If you know the game Dwarf Romantic, which I featured several times in my videos already, Panorama is basically the same, just with different graphic style. Well, not only that, here the world is completely 3D and you can zoom in on your creation and admire all those tiny details you have placed. Like, notice that all the tractors are driven by cats, which is ridiculous and also very cute. So here you will create landscapes and also discover a wide range of structures with special abilities. Enter the world of beauty and tranquility with the panoramas of your own creation. Also, you can pet your animals and get additional scores for that. This is a great relaxing game after a hard day of work, also perfectly suitable for your mother-in-law. IXION. Propelled onwards through a perilous journey, you are the administrator of the mighty space station, charged with finding a new home for humanity. Keeping the station sound and flying will require a firm hand and strategic thinking. You are constantly pulled between maintaining hull integrity, bringing in new resources, and managing power consumption. What choices will you make when confronted with impending disaster? What will you discover out there in the dark? Probably nothing good. We all know that Borg is somewhere out there. Eastshade. Nothing shady about this game, in fact it's hard to find some darker corner here. You are a traveling painter exploring the island and capturing the world on your canvas. Talk to the inhabitants to learn about their lives, make friends and help those in need. Visit cities, scale summits, unearth mysteries and discover forgotten places. This is a peaceful open-world exploration adventure where you will compose paintings anywhere in the world. You will offer them to locals to unlock secrets and gain items. Also, you will have to acquire crafting materials and schematics to surmount obstacles and solve quests. People on Steam are saying that this is one of the most beautiful games they have ever played, and most only wish that it was like at least 5 times longer. Stasis, Bone Totem. Perhaps I should start with the fact that the game has an overwhelmingly positive review score on Steam. That is always a great sign. Here you will take control of Mac and Charlie, a husband and wife duo who make their living by searching the ocean for salvage. But when you stumble upon an abandoned oil rig in the Pacific Ocean, you uncover a horrific secret, and the evil corporation behind it will do anything to keep it hidden. As you embark on your adventure, you will encounter an immersive narrative filled with spine-tingling horror and unexpected twists. Stasis Bone Totem, despite being a psychological horror game, is kinda relaxing because of the point-and-click nature and an interesting puzzles to solve. Dome Keeper. The discount is not very high, but the game is very affordable anyway. People behind the project are not greedy. Dome Keeper has about 90% of positive reviews, so it is obviously a hidden gem you may want to try. Well, a nice polished rock at least. This is a roguelike survival miner where you will defend your dome from wave after wave of monsters. You will use the time between each attack to dig beneath the surface and search of valuable resources and artifacts, and use them carefully to choose powerful upgrades and bonuses. People on Steam are talking that the game is very polished, rich and imaginative. It's all you need for your free time. Well, this and potato salad. Minute of Islands. Here you are, a skilled tinkerer living with your family on an archipelago once inhabited by an ancient race of inscrutable giants. Their mysterious but vital machines festering in the underbelly of the island must be kept going, or an almost forgotten threat will swallow all. You vow to restore the hidden engines in time, but is this truly what you need? With your powerful Omni Switch, you go through story-based environmental puzzles and platform gameplay until you will regain control over the giants' machines. People on Steam are saying that the art direction is absolutely amazing, but also warn you that the game leaves a lot of loose ends after it ends. And don't play this game if you are sad or depressed, it's not for you. Also, you can try the demo version for free. 8-bit Hordes. Basically, this is a Warcraft 3 if it would be made using the Minecraft engine. Here you'll find 2 factions, the Dark Orcs and their undead friends versus those annoying humans, dwarves, elves and all that puny stuff in general. You'll collect resources, build up and defend your base, amass your army of evil or, pathetic good, and ultimately crush your opponents. Game offers 24 offline campaign missions, 12 co-op missions to play with your mother-in-law, and 10 multiplayer maps that support up to 8 trolls online, literally and figuratively. AI is present as well. It has multiple difficulty options, also it can play in a team with you or destroy you. Game is easy to understand and is really user-friendly. If you like RTS games, there is no doubt that you may like this one as well. Pentiment. This game looks kinda dumb, but it's made by Obsidian Entertainment. Yeah, the same guys behind Pillars of Eternity, Fallout New Vegas, The Outer Worlds, and many others.
What are the others?
Oh, shut up. This is a narrative-driven historical game focusing on character development, with heavily stylized art and choice-driven storytelling in early 16th century Bavaria. You will play as Andreas Moller, a clever illustrator caught up in a series of murders in a secluded abbey over the course of 25 years. You will be responsible for conducting your own investigation to decide the fate of the community, but each decision will have lasting consequences and draws you closer to the center of underlying conspiracy. People on Steam are saying that the writing is top quality, art style is amazing, and animations are great. And yeah, the game has an overwhelmingly positive review score as well. And now, thank you for watching, and don't forget that in my channel you can find hundreds of videos like that with new ones released almost every day. Have a nice day and I'll see you next time. Bye.